Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is MTG Ghoul Dude, and I wanted to go over some of the recent spoilers we had for the recent Doctor Who set. And this is brought to you by MythicSpoiler.com. I don't have any dealings with Mythic Spoiler, but this is where I usually go to look up any spoilers. So we have the 4th, 10th, 13th, 12th, and the first Doctor spoiled, along with a bunch of other cards from the set. So let's look and see what they do. So the 4th Doctor, for 2, a green and a blue, it's a 4/4. Legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. If it's a Doctor, I'm just not going to say that, the typing, unless it's different. And so you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and it has the ability, would you like a question mark? Once a turn, you may play a historic land or cast a historic spell from the top card of your library. When you do, you create a food token. So this is actually interesting because it plays into the food strategies. I can see this going in like Lannis Cryptozoologist, where it has artifact synergies. Pretty low cost for some of the other Doctors that we have, besides the first Doctor here in the 13th. 10th Doctor for 3, a blue and a red. So this is already in a consideration for my Ruth build. So let's see what he does. Aliens, I think that's how it's pronounced. Whenever you attack, exile cards from the top of your library. Yep, it's already doing the same thing. When you exile a non-land card, put 3 time counters on it. Ooh. Oh, this actually plays really well into my Ruth deck because that's all it's doing. Yep. No, actually no, because it has to be whenever you attack. Yeah. So yeah, this will have to be an extra little side theme. But time counters are actually pretty cool because that plays into more of a Joria deck. Almost like a second commander if you needed it. Timey-wimey, for 7 generic, you can time travel 3 times. Which is basically, I guess, just taking 3 counters off. For each suspended card you own in each permanent you control with the time counter on it, and you may add or remove a time counter, then do it 2 more times. Yeah, so that plays directly into the Joyra that does the time counters, and that's especially kind of super good because that's for 7 mana. You're just taking 3 off and just putting something into play. Oof. The 13th Doctor for a green and a blue. It's a 2/2. Paradox. Yeah. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That's actually pretty cool. Team TARDIS. At the beginning of your end step, untap each creature you control with a counter on it. That's not as good, but if you're playing blue-green counters, that's actually super good. Davros Dalek Creator for 1 generic, a blue, black, and a red. It's a 3/4 legendary artifact creature, alien scientist with a menace. At the beginning of your end step, create a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with menace. If an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn, then each opponent who lost 3 or more life this turn faces a villainous choice. You draw a card, or that player discards a card. So that's more of along the lines of the voting mechanic, will of the council, stuff like that. That's still pretty cool though, because you get to make a creature, but this is like a life drain type of commander if you're going to use this as a commander. The first Doctor for 1, a white and a blue. It's a 2/2. Whenever it enters the battlefield, search your library or graveyard for a card named TARDIS. Reveal it, put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Whenever you cast a spell with Cascade, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, this would probably just have to end up being its own. Wedding Ring. It's an artifact for 2 white. When it enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card. This is the reprint of the Wedding Ring from what is the set? Crimson Vow, I believe, where this is the wedding ring for Edgar and Olivia. That's pretty neat that they found a way to tie some stuff together. The 12th Doctor for 3, a blue and a red. It's a 4/4. The first spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand each turn has Demonstrate. So whenever you may copy it, if you do choose an opponent, also copy it. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. Huh. That's pretty cool. That would actually really go well in Aruth. Missy for 3, a blue, a black, and a red. Whenever another... It's 4/5. Time Lord Rogue. Whenever another non-artifact creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control, face down, and tapped. It's a 2/2 Cyberman artifact creature. Ooh. That's reminiscent of Marchesa, but instead of Mardu, this is Grixis. Well, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Each artifact creature you control does 1 damage to that opponent, or you draw a card and chaos ensues. I can see where this might be a plane chase set too, because of the chaos ensues. The 2nd Doctor for 2, a white and a blue. It's a 2/4. Players have no maximum hand size, so this is kind of reminiscent of Quain. Wonder if it's going to have a draw ability. Let's see. How Civil of You. At the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card for each opponent who does. Cannot attack you or permanent you control during their next turn. Yeah, this would go good in the Quain deck. The 9th Doctor for 1, a blue and a red. 2/4 with haste. And it has the ability Into the TARDIS. Whenever the 9th Doctor becomes untapped during your untap step, you get an additional upkeep step after this step. Wow, that's actually really good. Like if you have a way to like float mana, you can. No, that's untap. Untap upkeep. Yeah. So if you have a funny upkeep abilities, that's actually pretty cool. The Fugitive Doctor for 3, a green and a red. It's a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, investigate. Pretty good so far. Kind of expensive for 5 mana. When the Fugitive Doctor attacks, you may sacrifice a clue. When you do, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback for 2, a red and a green until end of turn. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty interesting for a red-green clue deck. But we do have cards from, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the red-green creature from the thinking of it, Stranger Things, who deals with clues also. Here's one I was kind of interested in, the Cyber Controller. For X, blue, blue, and black, it's a 3/3 legendary artifact creature, Cyberman. When the Cyber Controller enters the battlefield, each opponent mills X cards. Put all creature cards milled this way onto the battlefield face down under your control. They're 2/2 Cyberman artifact creatures. And other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. So this is actually delving into the mill your opponents, and this is actually reaping benefits. But yeah, I really like this one. I've always been a fan of mill, but I could never just, me personally, just get it to the way I wanted it. So I can see this being maybe its own thing with it controlling its own, helming its own deck, if you must. The 3rd Doctor, 2 green and a blue. It's a 2/2 with trample. Oh, look out now. Gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token you control. So clues, foods. This go great in the so far in the Lord of the Rings decks. When it enters the battlefield, create your choice of a clue, food, or treasure. So if you have Academy Manufacturer, you just get all three, and then he becomes a 5/5, quite literally. This could be its own deck too with the non-creature tokens. The 11th Doctor for a 1, a white, and a blue. 3/2. I am talking. Whenever the 11th Doctor deals combat damage to a player, you may exile a card from your hand with the number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. And for 2 generic, target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. So that's actually good for his own ability. River Song for 1, a blue, and a red. It's a 2/2. Meet in reverse. You draw cards from the bottom of your library rather than the top. That's super interesting, especially if you have abilities that put cards on the bottom. Like if you were to draw, like Anticipate, you put them on the bottom. Or you scry, and your scries can be then drawn. That's actually pretty neat. Just to do a flip deck where you start drawing from the bottom instead of the top. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their libraries, put a counter on River Song, then River Song deals damage to that player equal to its power. So it doesn't affect you, but it affects all the rest of your opponents. The Beast, Deathless Prince for 2, a black, and a red. It's a legendary creature demon. 6/6. When you cast a spell, gain control of a target creature until end of turn. Untap it, it gains medicine and haste until end of turn. The Beast enters the battlefield tapped with 6 stun counters on it. If it would become untapped, remove a stun counter from it instead. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to its owner, untap the Beast and draw a card. That's actually pretty cool. I like I've always loved the, hey, let me borrow that real quick, like theme deck where it's like you're stealing other people's creatures, and you never have any intention of letting them have them back. It's like, hey, I'm gonna just borrow this for a second. Oh look, I really need to draw some cards. Hey, I hope you don't mind. I'm just gonna sack it for you. This is too dangerous for you to have anyway. The 5th Doctor for 2, a white, and a blue. Is there, for some reason, okay, so we got the 3rd who is blue and green. Okay, I'm curious now. The 11th who is white and blue. We have the 5th who is white and blue. Is it the... Nope, because the 2nd Doctor is white and blue. Okay, so we have the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd. So, blue, white, green, blue. Where's the 4th? Green, blue. 5th. We don't... It's not showing us the 5th. Okay, so... But yeah. They're going on a theme, I think. Like, certain ones have special certain colors. The War Doctor for 2, a red and a white. 3/5. Whenever one or more other permanents phase out. Ooh, phasing. That's going to be fun. White has a good bit of phasing. Red, on the other hand, does not. Put in exile from anywhere. Put a time counter on the War Doctor. Whenever the War Doctor attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of time counters on it to any target. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. So, this one is... It's kind of shaky because blue has more phasing ability than red and white does. So I'm interested to see how this one works. Nardole, Resourceful Cyborg for 1 and a blue. It's a 1/2 legendary artifact creature scientist. You can tap it and add a blue for each counter on Nardole. Spend this mana to cast non-creature spells. And it has Undying, so it gets bigger. But how does it get counters? Do you have to... I wonder if you have to put it in a counter theme to buff it up. And it's any counter. So you could put this in the deck of mini counters deck. Like, not like the mini counter spells, but the mini counters, like +1/+0 counters, +1/+2 counters, stuff like that. They have some weird ones back in the day. Cult of Skaro for 1, a blue, a black, and a red. It's a legendary creature artifact Dalek, 4/4. Whenever it attacks, choose one at random. The first one is They, I don't know. Put a +1 counter on each artifact creature you control. That's actually really good, and it will go great with the Cyber Controller or Missy. Can draw 2 cards. Sec, create a 3/3 Dalek. And Jast, fast. Each opponent loses 4. It's actually pretty unique. The 6th Doctor for 4 green and a blue. So the 4th, 5th, and 6th are also the same colors. Time Lord's Prerogative. Yeah. Whenever you cast a historic spell, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary, so you can make multiples. This ability only triggers once each turn. So this could be pretty cool if you can put this in like a good historic creature matters deck. They're pretty cool. Rose Tyler for 1 and a white. It's a 2/2 legendary creature human. Gets +1/+1 for each time counter on it. So it has the ability Bad Wolf. Whenever it attacks, put a time counter on it for each suspended card you own and each other permanent you control with a time counter on it. I see the similarities in the deck. Bill Potts. 3 and a red. It's a 2/4 legendary creature human. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Bill Potts or activate an ability that target only Bill Potts, copy that spell or ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. This is Doctor's Companion. And Doctor's Companion says you can have 2 commanders if the other is the Doctor. That's pretty neat. So this would go great with one of the spell-based, more spell-slinger type commanders. And this would also add onto your colors. So if you were playing like the 7th Doctor here or the 6th Doctor, you would be in Teamer or America colors, which is can't think of it at the moment. Anyways, on to Vizlor Turlo. I apologize for anybody that is like a raging fan for the Doctor Who. I am unfortunately not. I never got into it. So for 3 and a black, it's a 2/5. Deal with the Black Guardian. Vizsla enters the battlefield. You may have an opponent gain control of it. If you do, it's goaded for as long as they control it. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Then you lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. So the first ability is for you when you cast him. The second ability is against them. Oh, excuse me, the southern swap around for when cold and hot is hitting right about now. The second one is for the person controlling it, which is pretty cool. And this is also a Doctor's Companion, so you could have it as someone else's friend. The 7th Doctor for 3, a white and a blue. It's a 3/6. Whenever the 7th Doctor attacks, choose a card in your hand. Defending player guesses whether that card's mana value is greater than the number of artifacts you control. If they guessed wrong, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast the spell this way, investigate. That's pretty neat. I don't know if I would run that personally. Martha Jones for 2 and a blue. It's a 3/2 human cleric. Woman Who Walked the Earth. When Martha Jones enters the battlefield, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, Martha Jones and up to one other target creature can't be blocked this turn. There we go. That's better. Dan Lewis for 1 and a red. It has Martha Jones has Doctor's Companion. So does this one. Dan Lewis is a 2/2 legendary creature human. Non-creature, non-equipment artifacts you control are equipment in addition to their other types, and have equipped creature gets +1/+0 and equip 1. Oh my god, that's great. So, I don't know if you guys remember it, but this is Bludgeon Brawl, where non-creature, non-equipment artifacts you control are equipment. So Bludgeon Brawl says if an artifact you control is on the battlefield, it gains equip. It allows you to equip onto another creature. So there was a thing about equipping an Emrakul to, it was a meme a while back. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was hilarious. But yeah, this is pretty much Bludgeon Brawl, Mr. Dane Lewis. The Master Mesmerist, 2 a black and a blue, 3/3 Time Lord Rogue. Tap him. Target creature and opponent controls with power less than or equal to the Master's power against Skulk until end of turn and goad it. That's pretty neat. Whenever a creature with Skulk deals combat damage to one of your opponents, put a counter on the Master and draw a card. The 8th Doctor for 4 a white and a blue. Time Lord 4/4. Enters the battlefield mill 3. At the beginning of each of your turns, you may play a historic or cast a historic permanent spell from your graveyard. If you do, it gains. If this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Amy Pond, 2 and a red, 2/2, partner with Rory Williams. Who's Rory? I don't think we've met Rory yet. Deals combat damage to a player, chooses a spin card you own. It's another. You can start seeing where the commander deck themes are starting to come together. Ryan Sinclair for 2 and a red, 2/2 legendary creature human. When it attacks, exile a card from top of your library to exile a non-land card. Oh, so if you're in a lands matter theme, it's gonna take a while. You may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost if it's a spell with mana value less than or equal to Ryan's power. Put it on the put the exile cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. That's actually really cool. And that's a Doctor's Companion. The Master Multiplied. 4 black and a red. It's a 4/3 Time Lord Rogue with Myriad. The legend rule doesn't apply to creature tokens you control. That, to me, seems like it should be in blue, because you don't, I don't know, you just don't get the chance to make as many copies of, or make it as many abilities in red and black. I don't know. Triggered abilities you can, I mean, there is a way to do it, I'm sure. I'm very sure there is a way to make copies of your legendary creatures. Triggered abilities you control can't cause you to sacrifice. Oh, like what is it called? It's the red enchantment that whenever you cast a creature, it allows you to make a copy of it. Can't think of it right now, but that's a way right there. Barbara Wright for 1 and a white. Human Advisor 1/3. History Teacher. Sagas you control have read ahead, so you can choose where they go. If it's like a 1, 2, or 3. And it also has Doctor's Companion. Donna Noble, 3 and a red, 2/4 legendary creature human. The Soulbound. So Soulbound, you put it on the battlefield, or whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may have them paired. Whenever Donna or a creature it's paired with is dealt damage, Donna deals that much damage to target opponent. So if you pair it with a stuffy doll, it's great. Yasmin Khan, 3 and a red, it's 3/3. Human Detective. Tap it, exile the top card of your library until your next end step. You may play it. Doctor's Companion. The Master Gallifrey's End. For 2, a black and a red. It's 4/3 Time Lord Rogue. Make them pay. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, choose an opponent with the most life among your opponents. So it's kind of like what is it called? Dethrone. That player faces a villainous choice. They lose 4 life, or you create a token that's a copy of that card. And that can trigger multiple times, because it doesn't say you can only use it once. Ian Chesterton, 2/3 human scientist for 2 and a white. It has the ability Science Teacher. Each saga spell you cast has Replicate. Wow. The Replicate cost is equal to its mana cost. That's pretty wild. Kate Stewart for 1, a blue, a red, and a white. It's 3/3 human scientist. Whenever you put 1 or more time counters. So I'm guessing the America colors are the scientists that do the counters, and the off colors or the green and blue are like their own deck, and then the blue, the Grixis is like its own deck. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't seen it. Whenever Kate Stewart attacks, you may pay 8 generic mana. If you do, attacking creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of time counters among permanents you control. Wow, I don't see this one going through very well at all. I mean, it's kind of like the Arabo effect, the Eminence ability when another creature attacks, but another cat attacks, specifically to Arabo. But I mean, it depends on you really just throwing your whole deck into suspend, pretty much. Graham O'Brien for 1 and a green. It's a green card, solitary green card for once. 2/2 human pilot with Paradox. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, create a food token, and it's Doctor's Companion. Ashad, the Lonely Cyberman for 1 and a Grixis, or blue, black, red. 3/3, the first non-legendary artifact spell you cast each turn has casualty 2. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I love I made the casualty ability. It's really good with certain creature types. If you're playing tribal, artifacts is not a good one, but if you're gonna do like I used a zombie something with my casualty, because zombies are automatically 2/2s. So you could probably do zombies with this one if you wanted to get more out of it. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, put a +1 counter on Ashad, the Lonely Cyberman. And plus with, what is it called? Brothers War, we actually got a lot of different artifact creatures, or creatures that make zombies. So they're not 2/2s, they're 3/3s, but still. That's actually very interesting. Joe Grant for 2 and a white. Human Soldier 3/2. Each historic card in your hand has cycling 2 and a white. Whenever you cycle a card, put a counter on her. Doctor's Companion. The Face of Bowie. I don't know. 1 and a blue, red, white. Alien Advisor 0/4. You may cast a spell with suspend from your hand. If you do, pay its suspend cost rather than its mana cost. Wow. Activate only as a sorcery. I can see this one as another Cody type deck. I mean, you can't play all the colors, but you can play some of the better colors of suspend cards. It's actually pretty cool. Clara Oswald, 6 generic mana. Wow. 2/6 Impossible Girl. If Clara Oswald is your commander, choose a color before the game begins. It is the chosen color. If the triggered ability of a doctor you control triggers, the ability triggers an additional time. Doctor's Companion. So I've seen a lot of people wear the what is it? where they were trying to pair this with Orvar, but the doctors themselves are noted as a doctor and not... Oh, they're noted as a doctor in creature type 2. It's actually pretty cool. But they were trying to pair this with Orvar and like saying, hey, you know, what should I pair with this to make it just broken? Me personally, I would do red, because red has a lot of instant sorcery abilities that target creatures but don't like really just hurt them. Green would also probably be a better one because you can pump them up. Resilient, the War President. Sounds like my type of card. Let's see what it does. 3 a blue and a black. For 3/4, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life and exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. And that's as long as he is on the battlefield. Each non-creature spell you cast from exile has Conspire. You may tap 2 and tap creatures you control. So this would be good in the Cyberman deck. This would actually be a really good like artifact based deck. As many times as you don't see it, it's actually pretty good. Perry Brown, 3 and a white for 2/3. The first exort spell you cast each turn has Convoke. So it's tokens. Doctor's Companion. Iridus, Soul of the TARDIS. For one a blue and a red. 3/3 Human Incarnation. Vanishing 3. So Vanishing is, it has 3 counters on it when it comes in. And every upkeep, on your upkeep, it takes a counter off. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target artifact you control until Iridus leaves the battlefield. That's okay. Has all activated and triggered abilities of the exiled card and gets +X/+X, where X is the exiled card's mana value. That's pretty cool. Me the Immortal. 2 green, blue, red. Human Rogue. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a choice of counters on Me the Immortal. Counters remain on me as it moves to any zone other than a player's hand or library. So this is a better, in my opinion, what was his name? It's the black-green zombie where he keeps his counters wherever he goes. You may cast me from your graveyard by discarding 2 cards in addition to paying its other cost. Pretty cool. This would go great with a Ozolith. The Rainy, I don't know how to pronounce that. 1 blue, black, red, 3/4 Time Lord Scientist. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, create a red aura enchantment token named Mark of the Rani attached to another target creature. That token has enchant creature. An enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. So this would go along with the goading theme with an Grixis goad deck. Whenever a goaded creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, investigate. Ramona the Second for 3 and a white, 3/3 Vigilance. Time Lord Scientist. Tap 1, tap it, create a tapped token that's a copy of target token that entered the battlefield this turn. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of T's. Doctor's Companion. Sally Sparrow. Oh man, it's the angel. The background. 2 a white and a blue, 2/3. When you may cast creature spells as though they had flash. That's not good in Notorious. You can see that being a hassle. Whenever one or more other creatures you control leave the battlefield, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, this is in just the right colors to blink, bounce back to hand, get their effect again, bounce them back to hand. What is it called? I can't think of it right now. The Door of not the Door of Destinies, but the other door that allows you to blink them back and forth. Jenny Flint for 1 a red and a blue, 2/2. Partner with Madame Vastra. We see her down here. There's Rory down there also. First Strike Training. Whenever you sacrifice a clue or food, put a counter on target creature you control. The Master Formed Anew. Black and a blue. 0/1. Body Thief. Whenever you cast a spell, you may exile a creature you control and put a takeover counter on it. You may have the Master formed anew into the battlefield as a copy of a creature in exile with a takeover counter on it. Sarah Jane Smith, 1 and a white, Human Detective, 2/1. Whenever you cast a Cyborg spell, investigate. Only once each turn. Doctor's Companion. Rory Williams, for a white and a blue, it's a 3/3 Human Soldier. Partnered with Amy Pond, so that's a... excuse me, just got up not too long ago. That's a red, white, and blue pairing. The Last Centurion. When you cast this spell from anywhere other than exile it with 3 time counters on it. It gains suspend, then investigate. Ew. Madame Vostra, for 2, a green and a blue. It's 3/3, partner with Jenny Flint. It must be blocked if able. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Madame Vostra this turn dies, create a clue or food. Interesting. The Dalek Emperor, for 5, a black and a red. It's a 6/6 legendary artifact creature Dalek. It has affinity for Dalek, so it costs 1 less for each Dalek you control. Other Daleks you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Each opponent. That player sacrifices a creature they control, or you create a Dalek. That's actually pretty cool. Tegan Jovanka. I don't know. 2 and a white, 2/2, Braveheart, legendary creature human. Whenever you attack, target attacking historic creature gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Doctor's Companion. This would be great in a Teshar deck, because you want to be playing historic spells. Jenny Generated Anomaly, for 2, a white and a red. It's 2/3 Time Lord Soldier with double strike, and it deals combat damage to a player to explore. So if you hit it, if you get to get through, it deals 4 damage, but because it hits twice, you get to explore twice. Strax Sontotran Nurse. Don't know how to say that word. 3, a red and a green, 5/5 alien cleric. Vigilance and trample, and it has 2 abilities. Grenades, for 2, a tap. Sacrifice an artifact, choose a player at random. When you do, Strax fights another target creature that player controls, or Glory of Battle. When it deals damage to a creature, put a counter on it. It's actually pretty neat. His fingers are so weird. His whole thing is weird. He's an alien. The Valeyard. I don't know. I'll cover him in a later video. You'll see later on this week. 2, a blue and a black. 4/5. If an opponent, legendary creature Time Lord Noble. If an opponent would face villainous choice, they face that choice an additional time. While voting, you may vote an additional time. Adric, Mathematic Genius, for 1 and a blue. Create copy target artifact activated or triggered ability. That's actually pretty neat. Ultimate Sacrifice, for 1 and a blue. Sacrifice counter target activated or triggered ability. That's actually pretty good. Wilfred Mont. Now I'm just getting to the point where we're seeing like all the filler. Ooh, I like that one. We're gonna get to that one. Sokrax Commander, 2, a black and a red, alien soldier, 4/2, first strike haste. Sanctified, rules of combat. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent faces a villainous choice. Discard all the cards in their hand, then draws that many cards -1. Or deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in their hand. Gallifrey Stands, 4, white and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, return all doctor cards from your graveyard to your hand. This is like pretty good. Beginning of your upkeep, you may put a doctor card from your hand onto the battlefield. Then if you control 13 or more doctors, you win the game. Kanon Mark 1. 1 blue. It's a robot dog. 1/1. As long as Kanon Mark 1 is untapped, other legendary creatures you control have Ward 1. Affirmative. 1 and a blue. Tap it. Target legendary creature can't be blocked this turn. Alright, Doomsday Conflux. For double X and a black, it's a sorcery. Choose X. You may choose the same mode more than once. Each player sacrifices a non-artifact creature. Create a 3/3 Dalek, or each opponent discards a card. So if you have enough mana, you can make them sacrifice all their non-artifact creatures, and you can make them discard all the cards and make all the Dalek. That's actually pretty cool. The Pandorica. 2 and a white. You may choose not to untap the Pandorica during your untap step. For 1 and a white, tap it, untap another target non-land permanent, and then it phases out. It can't phase in for as long as it remains tapped. When it becomes untapped or leaves the battlefield, that permanent phases in. Cyber Conversion for 2 blue. Target creature face down. Turn target creature face down. It's 2/2. That's not bad. I mean, it's pretty decent, but, it's not bad. We have a new land. Terrazanalor Clock Tower. Tap for a blue. Oh, and it comes in untapped. Remove 12 time counters from it. Exile it. Shuffle your graveyard. It's a clock. It's the unwinding clock. Not the unwinding. It's the midnight clock. In land form. That's actually pretty cool. Then we got a reprint of the Solemn Simulacrum in a gorgeous full art. This is how it ends for 3 and a blue, 3 and a black. Target creature. Oh. Target creature's owner shuffles it into their library, then they face a villainous choice. Lose 5, or they shuffle another creature they own into their library. That's really different for black. The Moment. 2 generic. Legendary artifact. Beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on the Moment. Tap 2, tap it. Untap target creature you control. It phases out until the Moment leaves the battlefield. For 3, you can tap it, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value less than or equal to the number of time counters on the Moment, then sacrifice the Moment. That's pretty decent. Toymaker's Trap for 2 and a black. It's an enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. Secretly choose a number between 1 and 5 that hasn't been chosen. If you do, an opponent guesses which number you chose, then you reveal the number you chose. If they guessed wrong, they lose life equal to the number they guessed, and you draw a card. If they guessed right, sacrifice it. That's not that great. Time Reaper, Alien Horror for 3 and 2 blacks, 4/4 flying and haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put target face up card they own in exile. Oh, on the bottom of their library. That's actually pretty cool. Dalek Drone for 3 and 2 black. There's a lot of rares in the set. I haven't come across one that wasn't a rare so far. Pretty weird. Flying and Menace and Exterminate. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls. That player loses 3 life. Fractured Identity. 3 white and a blue. Exile target non-land permanent. Each other player other than its controller creates a token copy of it. That's pretty dope. That's a reprint. Where's the one that I was looking at that I was like super interested in? Oh, that's a Wound Reflection reprint. Oh, this is where we get into the reprints. We've seen that one already. Vasta Narada. 2 and a black. Alien Horror. 1/1 indestructible with Shadow. Morbid at the beginning of each instep. If a creature dies this turn, put a counter on it. Each instep. Oh, there's a one right there with an adventure. Unlikely meeting and Twice Upon a Time for 4 and 2 blue. The adventure is search your library for a doctor card, reveal it, put it to your hand, and the 4 and 2 blue, cast the spell only if you control 2 or more doctors. Take an extra turn. Exile it. Anything else? Adipose Offering. That's a weird art. For 3 and a white, creature alien 2/2 emerge for 5. Oh, we haven't seen the emerge ability in a while. Wow, this is a first. Enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 white alien creature token. If emerge cost was paid, instead create X of those tokens, where X is the sacrificed creature's toughness. It's pretty cool. Chaos Warp, Blasphemous Act, we all know what those do. Hirschmere, we know what that does. Cyberman Squadron, for 7, it's 5/5. Artifact creature Cyberman. Non-legendary artifact creatures you control have Myriad. Oh my god, this is so cool. I love that in like an all artifact build, especially if all of your artifacts have indestructible. Yeah. Like if you make them indestructible, they can just swing in and you don't have to worry about it. Oh, everybody lives. For 1 and a white, all instant speed. All creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Players gain hexproof until end of turn. Players can't lose life this turn, and players can't lose the game or win the game this turn. It's a stopping everything game. Everything comes to dust. 7 and 3 white. Wow, that's pretty big. Convoke. Your creatures can help you use to cast it. Exile all creatures except those that share a creature type with a creature that convoke this spell, all artifacts and enchantments. Oh, that's pretty cool. Farewell reprint. Delete Tom Wipe reprint. That's actually pretty cool. Flaming Tyrannosaurs. Another one of them dinosaurs. This is the one I was looking at. I was looking at the Flood of Mars. So for 2 and 2 blue, it's in 3/3 alien zombie horror with Island Walk. So that's important. Water always wins. When the Flood of Mars attacks, put a flood counter on another target creature or land. If it's a creature, it becomes a copy of the Flood of Mars. If it's a land, it becomes an island in addition to its other types. It's actually pretty cool. I like that one a lot because it makes everybody play zombies. Carpet of Flowers reprint for the first time in a while. Wow, that's pretty cool. I want to see what the Weeping Angel does. Like, I know some of it. I know some of the Doctor Who stuff, but I don't know a lot of it. Oh, we are going on 47 minutes. Wow. Weeping Angel for 1 and a blue and a black. Flash, first strike vigilance whenever an opponent casts a creature spell. It isn't a creature until end of turn. Would deal combat damage to a creature. Oh, it's another zombie. I love zombies. We all know that. The Foretold Soldier for 2 green. That's another green. 6/6. Alien zombie soldier. It must be blocked if able. Can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Give it Death Touch. Whenever it deals damage, exile it face down. It becomes Foretold. And you can foretell it for 1 and a green. As Foretold, that's a pretty neat reprint. Let's see. I kind of want to get through some Exotic Orchard. 2 prints. Oh, it's probably just done twice. Dragon Skull. Canyon Slow. Game Trail. Foreboding Ruins. We've got a bunch of these already. Especially these right here that came in the last... That one came in the... Name a Commander deck. And that one was from, like... These two, I know the Rockvale Vale and the Haunted Ridge, they were in the last Innistrad set. But the Thickets, like the Cycle Lands, haven't been reprinted in a while. So that's actually really cool. Waterlogged Grove. Oh, wow. They reprinted those? That's interesting. Those are the Horizon Lands. You don't get to see those very often. I wonder if they're going to reprint any more of them. Fetid Pools, Fire. Yeah, they are. That's actually really good. We haven't seen these reprinted since Modern Horizons. I hate that they're getting a different, art reprint, but a reprint is still a reprint. Frostboil Snarl, Creeping Tar Pit, another the same Fiery Islet. Desolate Lighthouse, that's actually pretty cool. Empress of Mars. Yeah. Horizon Canopy. That's a reprint. That's actually pretty good. Overgrown Farmland. Sunbaked Canyon. There's the red white one. Propaganda's getting a reprint. Sundown Pass from Canopy Vista. War Room. That's a good reprint. Thespian Stage. Wow. I like that Beast from Within art. That one's actually pretty cool. Snuff Out's getting a reprint. That Soul Ring is interesting looking. Path to Exile. Different. Well, those are probably the same. Yeah. Mind Stone. Talisman of Curiosity. Swords Plowshares. Lightning Greaves. Talisman of Impulse. Frontier Bivouac. There's the Soul Ring again. Thought Vessel. Talisman of Indulgence. Pretty cool. Creativity. Crumbling Necropolis. Talisman of Unity. I like that one. That one's actually some nice art. Rogue's Passage. Temple of the False God. Ooh, I really like that art for like an artifact type deck. Pretty cool. Ash Barrens. Wayfarer's Bauble. Cultivate. Farseek. Explore. Arcane Signet. Path of Ancestry. I was hoping to try and get into some... Where are they at? Some of the Jurassic Park cards that I've seen. Those are the extra arts if you haven't seen any of those. Take your time and scroll through those. Those are the extended arts that we have so far. Yeah, I knew it. It's Plane Chase. I knew it. Yep. Without even looking, I knew it. Because most of these are like the first time I've seen these. Let's see if they have any new spoilers. Let's see. Nope. Let's see if we can keep going. We can find the Jurassic Park ones. Those were a while back, so they might not have these like really close to the top. Apparently it's just been all Doctor Who recently. Which, like I said, I wasn't big... Oh, those are... Oh, these are the secret lair of the Evil Deads. Not big into the zombies. Destroy the Dead. What is that? Vanquish the Horde. Oh, that's pretty cool. Zombie Apocalypse. I like the alternates. Because some of them you can actually see. Like, that's Verena. Linda Candrian Queen. That's Verena Lich Queen. So that's actually pretty cool. That's a part of the spooky drop. The Princess Bride. That's different. I didn't even realize they were doing those. That is very different. Now these, oh my gosh, I love these because almost every single one of them is one I would play. So you got the Zombie Master, the Noxious Ghoul, Unholy Grotto, Grim Grin. I would love to get any of these, my hands on any of these. Like, that is awesome. Then we got this Secret Lair Weeping Angel, which is just the angels in different ones. Dalek Lands. Oh, that's neat. They got the little Daleks running around. Pixel Lands. The Sumi Lands. Lost Caverns of Ixalan. This is the one I wanted to look at because Lost Caverns is pretty cool. And I really like the arts, how they're different, but they don't seem like lands to me. I mean, you can let me know down in the comments below if you think so, but they don't look like lands to me. The special guests are going to be Mana Crypt and Lord of Atlantis. And my significant other told me that she would love to try and collect what of the Jurassic Park that we can get. I don't know. Coruscant Portal. Like, these right here are gorgeous. Like, I love the Cavern of Souls and the different color mana crypts, especially because they're so unique. You can put them in like your white deck, your blue deck, your black deck, red, green, stuff like that, where it fits your theme a little better. And then we have all the cool stuff. And I think we've all seen these, because that's where the new bundle set is coming in. But that is going to be it for today, guys. I really appreciate everybody that watches and subscribes, that likes videos, that shares it out. And I guess we have to cut it a little short because I'm getting a little close on time. So I'll see you guys next time in the graveyard.